Hi, I am Pavlinas. I am coming to you here today from Cyprus, and I'm very excited to welcome my friend Paul Santisi, one of the most listened people on the planet today in the areas of personal development, self-empowerment, guided meditations, and spiritual awareness. Paul has become a big YouTube influencer in this space in a very short period of time. And he has a very interesting story that I would love him to share with us today to help anyone who is in this space, YouTube, Facebook, social media today, and they're looking to become some kind of influencers. And I think he's the right person, coming from a very beautiful and good intention of helping people. So hello, Paul. Hi. Welcome.
Hello, glad to be here.
So you're joining us today from where exactly?
I'm in Boston, and out of nowhere snowstorm, so that's always fun.
Okay, so from warm Cyprus to all the way to Boston, but I found your meditations online at some stage, and then we connected, and now we're friends. And you have this very interesting story of how you went into creating meditations that now have millions and millions of views on YouTube and becoming a YouTube influencer, and actually an influencer in the personal development arena overall on YouTube. So I would like you to start with sharing a bit more about your background and what did you do before starting to do meditations on YouTube, and how did you start creating this meditation and getting these millions of views on YouTube. So share a bit more about your background and your story, your very interesting story.
Sure, it's a good question, and it's a great story. If we back up to my early 20s, I became very successful in a very short period of time. I went from my mother's basement to 150 employees in about a year and a half. And financially, I had anything I wanted. Life was really good. And then before I could blink, it all imploded and went away, and I owed more than I ever made. And I was in that dark place for about 10 years. And I became my own victim of circumstance. I would blame other people for why my life was no good. I would blame the government and the banks and the interest rates. And I fell into the mentality trap. Okay. And things got so off for me from where I was. I actually took a job at a light factory in the cafeteria. And I was feeding 300 union workers a day. And they were, it was on the outskirts of Boston. So the majority were very mean, violent, nasty, negative people. And, I would get a half dozen death threats by 6:30 in the morning because they would steal my food. They would steal my muffins. They wouldn't just steal a soda. They would steal the whole machine. They would climb through the ceilings at night, break into my freezers and steal my pork loin. So my job was to manage my food costs. So I got paid to be an authoritative jerk, really, because it was me versus them. 300 of them stealing versus me, the Italian guy. And at that point where I was in my life, I really enjoyed it because I got paid to be pretty mean because I was enjoying that miserable process for some reason. I fell into that trap. And it wasn't until this big Italian trucker one day came in delivering supplies, and he saw how I was treating the people. And he looked at me and he goes, "Bro," he's like, "why are you acting that way?" I'm like, "What do you want? Get out of here, like scram." And I made his egg sandwich and he left. The next day or so, he came in with the CD. He goes, "You need to listen to this. It'll help you feel better." And in that moment, when I grabbed the CD, Pavlina, I had that flashback like you see in the movies, that whole snapshot of time. And I saw all the images and pictures of who I used to be and the successes I used to have and when I used to speak in front of people. And I used to be the guy handing out hundreds of CDs. And in that moment, I had that reawakening. I remembered who I used to be after all these years. And then I looked at him, and this was like in November, and I said, "Okay, I'll stop being nice in January, February. I just want a couple more months of being this way." And when I went home, I went up to my attic and I started pulling out all my books. Think and Grow Rich, Laws of Success, How to Win Friends and Influence People, Power of Positive Thinking. And I started remembering who I was. And then it was probably a year and a half after that, I found myself at an event in Las Vegas. And it was on a Saturday afternoon after we broke for lunch. And I was walking with my friends, and I read the word Starbucks at the MGM Grand Casino. And I literally just felt this voice: you'll create meditations, you'll create meditations, you'll create meditation. And I'm looking around, who's saying this to me? I don't know. And I finally just said to myself, okay, I will create meditations. And I looked at my friend Joe and said, Joe, when I get home, I'm making meditations. And he goes, why would you do that? and because if you had known me, for me to say I'm making meditations would be like I'm coming to Greece and I'm going to build a tunnel under the ocean. It made no sense.
So you were not into
That's how this began. That's how it began.
You were not into meditations before that. You were not into listening to meditations.
I didn't know what meditating was. I thought if you meditated, you had to be some kind of creep or weirdo.
Okay.
I didn't know what I didn't know, but the voice was so authoritative to me and so persistent. I just listened. I didn't talk myself out of it. I didn't say, oh, I'm tired, I'm crazy, I need something to eat, I need to take a nap. I said, okay. And then when I got home, that presence was back, and I'm talking to myself going, I don't know what meditating is. And this presence was just, it'll flow through you. Sit down. And I sat down with a pen and some paper, outlined what I thought was a meditation, recorded it, and put it on YouTube. And ever since then, you're talking tens of millions of views, tens of thousands of comments. And I couldn't make it up if I tried what has unfolded.
So where do you think this inspiration came from? This voice, this inspiration to do something? Where do you think it came from? How can you draw this inspiration? How can other people draw this inspiration to create something? It's some kind of creative energy that comes and brings out things in you to create. Because you must have been open to something.
If I had to think back to the moment where I felt this presence, I was in Vegas. This was a Saturday. I got there on Thursday. I was at a weekend event, so I was surrounded by 3,000 like-minded, positive, encouraging people, and we heard some fantastic speakers. And I believe it was the moment where I was so tired from not sleeping, but I was so emotionally charged that some kind of portal opened, an infinite intelligence of communication door opened. But in that moment, I was open to the possibility. And so anyone watching this, if you get that feeling or that gut check, listen to it. Don't say, oh, that's not me. No, I'll never do that. Chew on the possibility and just let it flow through you. And then put it out there. Share yourself. Share your creation through your own internal observation. You may be surprised the energetic glue that emanates from you that just attracts people in and through you when you do that. So really, I tell people, get out of your head and become aware of how you feel. When you're aware of your feelings and you know how you feel, like-minded thoughts will then follow how you feel. So a lot of people, I think, try to make themselves positive with their thoughts, but they feel like crap. Get out of here, go down here. Why do I feel this way? How do I want to feel? Who do I want to become in my life? Clarify that. Define those emotions first. Then like-minded thoughts will follow. That will feed that feel-good feeling. And then you're thinking about what you're thinking about is creating more good feelings. That's expanding your vibration. And then that's how I use intuition to know what to do next. I never think about what to do next. A feeling presents itself. Everything I need to know then just flows right through me.
So be open and listen to the messages. Don't ignore them. When you get the hunch and intuition, go and act on it. You went and acted on it. Sometimes we get the intuition, the hunch, and we don't act on it, and then we lose it. We have the most amazing opportunity to create something, and then we don't act on it and we lose it. But another important thing that I picked up is that you were in a space where you were around great energy, 3,000 people who want to improve themselves. So in that energy, you draw inspiration to. That's why I love seminars. I love creating these events for people, because we create energy there. And then when you're charged with that energy, then you have so many ideas, and then you can go and create, I guess.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
lives change at events, and
Mm-hmm.
I heard that from my mentors over the years and years. You need to go to the event. Lives change at the event, and if one person lives change, then the whole event is worth it for the it's worth it for the presenter. And
Mm-hmm.
that was my moment, and that was probably my 15th major event that I went to over the years since I've been about younger, 17, 16 when I started. Um, yeah, it's just becoming aware of your feelings is the best way to begin branding yourself, because you know who you are, you know where you're coming from, and you're speaking from a place of real life experience in your own observation. You're speaking from a place of who you are, not trying to impress people with the words you use.
Mm-hmm.
And that's been my little formula. Me. I'm
Mm-hmm.
speaking from a place of experience, and what I'm saying to you has worked in my life, and it can work in yours. And if you want to tug on the possibility and apply it and get a similar result, terrific. If you don't, I can't want it more than you, and I don't. So no problem.
So today you're there in Boston, sorry, and you're influencing millions of people around the world in a positive way to improve their lives. And this happened very fast in very few years. You became an influencer on YouTube. And I know many people who are struggling, who are doing the YouTube videos, and they're trying to be influencers online, and that they're trying to have some kind of influence, and they never get to that level. So if you would advise these people that want to be online and create influence and build these big brands that I'm talking about, if you would advise them on what are the key steps to take that would ensure the success that you have, for you it seemed to come easy. As soon as you uploaded your first meditation video, you start getting those views and those followers. So what would be the main advice, the main tips you would give to these people who want to become influencers online?
Sure, that's a good question. It's a great question.
Mm-hmm.
I'll speak from what I applied, and ever since that first meditation, I've applied a specific intention into what I create. And I do this in everything I create moving forward, and I always have, and I always will. It's my intention. My intention is for one person to feel better about themselves when they listen to something that I'm sharing. That's it. I want them to feel something about themselves, because when someone has the ability to feel, get out of their head and to feel, that's when their vibration becomes open, and then that's when they're allowing possibilities to flow through them. So the number one thing is intention. It's, I don't create from a place of being liked, for being the most listened to for getting the most comments. That's all a logistical. That's over here. That's not my focus. My focus isn't on my words. I set my intention. I see the emotion all the way through to fruition for what I would like my listener to experience. And then when I press record, I do everything in one take, one shot. I don't think twice. I don't record something 3 times. I don't pick the best out of 5. Once, one take, one shot, and my intention's clarified. What that allows the listener to do is ride this energetic beam with me, and it allows them to expand in and through me as I'm expanding through my own observation in my own creation process. And that works magically well, because when you give someone the right to say no, you give them the opportunity to say yes. So if someone is able and tugs on that beam and rides this wave of possibility, now I'm influencing how they feel about themselves. And that's the greatest gift that one human can share with another, is the gift of feeling good about who you are. And then everything technically kind of flows automatically after that. So I'm never thinking about what to do next. I'm feeling what to do. And then all the information's already within us. So you really don't have to think too much after you set your intention. And then, of course, you can fine tune it with different techniques and concepts and ways and systems and analytics, and you can hone in on it, absolutely. But at first, it's all intention, knowing who you are and where you're coming from. That's at least where I come from.
That's very, very interesting because you have all these YouTube experts and branding experts and online marketing experts, and they teach you about keywords and about, analytics and all these things and tagging. And then you come and you say, I set my intention before I record my videos, my audios, and then I put them online, and then they get these millions of views. And it's just intention, it's just energy. And I remember the first time you told me about this was when I started making my video blogs. And you told me, set your intention. And it took me a while to get it. And then the next time I went to shoot a video, I was setting the intention. What do I want people to feel? And the video started performing better and better until, people started telling me, oh my God, it's like you're reading my thoughts, or, you're answering to what I want to listen to. So that's so important, the emotion you bring into the video and the intention. Any other insider secrets on becoming an influencer that maybe you would share?
Sure. There's hundreds of thousands of hours we could talk about. Another thing I talk about often is there's only 3 types of people you should listen to. Well, there's really 4, but there's 3. People who have what you want, people who have been where you are, and people who have been where you want to be. Now, people who have what you want, that there's two sides to that. That could be if you see somebody with a beautiful yacht or a beautiful car or a Rolls Royce. Yes, you can talk to them because they've manifested something materialistic that is of interest to you. You may be able to learn some good knowledge from them. But some of those people who have the high-end ticket items, they're not going to really let you into their energetic power. They're going to kind of water it down what they say to you. But there's still good value in those people. But who do you listen to? What that really means is character traits. Surround yourself with people who act how you would like to act about yourself, like pleasing personality, communication skills, ability to learn and to conversate, things like that. So who do you listen to? People who have what you want. It's just not materialistic. It's character traits as well. Character traits, clarifying the type of people you want to associate with. And you're a master at this because I observe it constantly. You surround yourself with a quality of character that's amazing. So we'll talk about you in a little bit on how you do that. But that's that. So people who have what you want, who have been where you are, and people who have been where you want to be, because those people will genuinely speak to you from a place of real life experience, and they're going to want you to succeed, because if they have been where you are or where you want to be, they know you're not in competition with them. So they're going to see that you're an able person asking the right questions. They're going to want to assist you. And just being in the presence of energy of those people does so much for your own inner belief. So that's really key. And if, people watching, you want to be an influencer on however, TV, radio, YouTube, you have to be likable to a degree. A lot of people, they want to be this huge YouTube star, and then when they talk, they have this stern look and they talk monotone. I am successful and you can too. You're scaring people. Work on yourself. Go read the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People from was it Dale Carnegie? Dale Carnegie. Read that book, develop some personality skills. Maybe watch videos of your favorite mentors or actors or actresses and just see how they are, see how they can just be them. Like I'm being now. I'm me. If you like me, that's awesome. You don't have to. I'm not going to lose a night's sleep over it either way. And getting to that place of self-belief, now you're giving your listener or your potential subscribers reasons to want more of you. Because they feel where you're coming from. People are going to feel where you're coming from infinitely faster than they're going to hear what you're trying to say to them.
Great. So associate with people who are already successful, have the success that you want, and they can lift you up with them. Become likable, develop yourself, and then other people are going to like you. And many times you mentioned to me in the past, and we've discussed this, don't discuss your goals, your big dreams with people who don't who haven't reached that level of success, because then they pull you down. That's why it's important. This is what I've learned this from you, and I've thought about a lot. There's a lot of people who are putting out their goals to everyone, and then they're spreading out this energy that they should keep inside them and share with only a few people. I mean, you talk about that.
Yeah. It's when you have a goal or a dream or an idea or a desire, keep it to yourself, get it done first. And then when it's done, anyone's opinion or what they think won't influence your creative ability to, in combination with your intention. If you start telling people what you're going to do, their opinions and made up logic or their assumptions get in your head, and that screws up, that counteracts your intention. It's the energy that people will be attracted to that you create in the creation process, that you put into what you do. So if you don't, like, I don't tell anyone what I'm doing. I don't tell my wife. I don't tell my friends. If someone says, Paul, what are you working on? What's coming up next? I have no idea. I'll let you know when it's done. Oh, you can't tell me? There's nothing to tell you. I don't know. You know. No, I don't. Because there's no need for them to know. Even if they're my biggest cheerleader, it's fine. Let me get it done. And then if they listen and they like it, then they can edify me through themselves and others after it's done and send me their energetic support that way.
Exactly. I love it. This is one of the things I learned from you, and I learned to talk less and do more, and then, when it happens, people get inspired. If you tell them before it happens, they can pull you down. They can even destroy the energy with their own energetic vibrations for those who believe in energy and vibration. So you help millions of people improve their lives through these audios, these meditations, these programs. And thousands of people every day seeking your help on YouTube. So what do you think are the 2-3 main limitations that are holding people back from achieving their goals and dreams and living their full potential and living amazing lives? What have you observed?
It's a really good question. The main blocks would be people need to define their dream. And they need to get a burning desire for its achievement, like Napoleon Hill talks about. A lot of people, they begin trying to become somebody in the hope, wonder, and wish mentality. I hope I did a good job. I wonder if people like me. I wish I could be successful like that other person. What others have done, you can do also. What others have done, you can do also. So once you understand that, now you can do anything. Then the only difference between you and someone who seems to have what you think you might want is the size of their dream and time. They clarified their dream. They defined their dream. They knew who they know who they are, and they know who they want to become. Then they focused on that consistently for days, weeks, months, or years in a spirit of anticipation, excitement, and motivation for themselves to grow. And then that's how they became who they are. So a lot of people think there's a trick or a fast lane. Even if you took a shortcut and went from who you are right now with your mindset to $1 million, the $1 million you might think that's the goal, but it's who you become in the journey. Success is the progressive realization of a worthwhile dream. So when you can when you need to know what you want and why you want it, like I often talk about that. Someone says, I want a new Porsche. Why do you want the Porsche? Because it looks good. Well, if you're driving it from the inside, you can't see the outside. So why do you want the Porsche? I've always wanted one. Why? And you nail why. And typically when you nail that why down to a feeling, I want to show everyone on my street that I did it, or I want to impress someone, or it's for an egotistical reason. So if you strip all that away, you really want the Porsche because you want to feel accomplished. You want to feel like a somebody. You want to feel like your own winner. So you want the feeling of feeling like a somebody. You think the Porsche is going to give you that feeling. We can generate that feeling right now, today. And then that is what other people will be influenced by. So it's, like I said, get out of your head. Why do you feel how you feel, and why do you want what you want? clarify your dreams to a feeling and nail it down to a feeling, then that becomes knowingness. And then intuition, inspiration, collective consciousness will flow and present itself through you. And then you create from a state of feeling, not thinking. And that's what I've done. And like you've said, and we've talked about it.
I lost the last sentence.
I said it works incredibly well.
It does, yes.
And I know it's different. You know, I've never spent a penny on advertising. I've never spent a penny on promoting any of my audios or videos. You know, and virtually collectively, you know, my material's some of the most listened to in the world. And I haven't even gotten into, I don't even know what the things are. SEO, click words, click this. I don't even know yet. I'm not even close to even having to. That's all great stuff. I look forward to it, but I'm not even
when you provide real value, no, people will find you, people will listen. You are the example of that. It doesn't have to do with SEO, with other things. It's first you need to have the intention to help people, to provide something valuable. In becoming an influencer online, I would like you to give me the two sides of the coin. Are there any dangers to building a brand online, any negative things that people should take care of? And what are the positive things? Like the dangers and the main positive thing of building, according to your experience?
Sure. That's a really good question. You know, if we go back to what we talked about at the beginning, where you have to work on yourself, you have to know who you are and where you're coming from, because there's a lot of non-desirable people in the world of social media. And if you're easily influenced by what you may think is a negative comment, if you let what anyone says about you influence how you feel about yourself, that's really going to affect you, because you're going to be canceling out your own expectation. So you may feel amazing when you make the video. You may think people are going to love this. And then someone leaves you a nasty comment and it makes you feel bad. Well, you can't keep expanding because you're going up, you're always flatlining. Okay? So you have to be able to know, this is what I learned and this is what I apply, that what most people think are facts aren't facts, they're opinions. So if you read a comment that may seem negative, if you really read it and focus on it, you're going to realize that that's just maybe an interpretation of how that person feels about themselves. Maybe they're repeating something that someone said to them and they want to pull you down. So the first step, the negative side, is you have to be able to take everything with possibility. Like, my intention is to help one person feel something or better about themselves, but it's really for them to feel something, okay? So I don't get 100% positive comments. Most are, but I get the bad seeds in there. It's part of life. You can't please the world, and we're not trying to. So when I read a comment that's kind of hokey, we'll say, I'm like, I get excited. Good. I got this guy to feel something. He doesn't need to like me. I don't care if he does. And I got him to feel something where he took an action step and typed those words. Even though if they're negative or hurtful, I still got him to feel something for himself. I still provided value to him. So my audio was still a success in my mind. It's an audio or a video.
Well, I haven't thought about it this way. I've created some kind of reaction, strong reaction, even if it's a strong negative comment. So they felt something.
Yes.
Yeah.
So your intention is always expanding.
You can't let yourself be influenced. I've experienced this, and you've watched me from the beginning, and you've watched me experiencing the bullying, the initial, stage of bullying when I got my first bully. And then if you let it draw you down, this is their intention. They won. And then it slows down your progress. So if you are influenced by other people's opinions, and you cannot do this, you cannot be an influencer online. If you want to be an influencer, you need to be strong in your own beliefs, your own message, and not let all these other people and other people's opinions to influence your emotions. You need to keep your emotions strong. This is what I learned. And what you are saying. And what are the positive things that you experience from being an influencer? What do you get out of this?
Sure. That's another great question. I see. This is why I like you. You have such good questions. You ask the right questions, which is very special. But just to finish up what we just talked about, this one phrase makes it all so easy, and it makes everything possible. No one can make you feel bad unless you let them make you feel bad. And that's powerful. So when you can read something that may not be rainbows and ice cream about you, you're still thankful for it. You still have gratitude, and you're still allowing that to empower who you are, because you know that you got them to feel. So you provided an outstanding service to humanity, because most people don't have the ability to feel. So that's key. But the positive side of it's the comments. It's the levels of gratitude and thankfulness, and the awakenings and the aha moments. And I mean, I've heard, God, I read each and every comment. And every first time when I wake up in the morning, I turn my phone on and I read all the comments from YouTube. And, most aren't all thankful and positive. I would say a good 98, 99% are. So if you take the amount of views I have collectively and you divide the amount of negative comments I receive and put it on a calculator, it doesn't even show up. So it's zero, because it's 0.0000. It doesn't even show up on a calculator as a factor. So why would I let any of those people influence how I feel about myself? There's no need to, because you can't please the world, so no one should, and no one should think they have to. But it's the comments, really. It's the gratitude, the messages, the emails, the testimonials that really give me a great sense of fulfillment for what I do, because I'm just me, and I get a feeling, and I press record, and I just start talking, and I don't think about what I'm doing. And when I listen to a meditation that I created back for the first time, I'm the same as you or a new listener hearing it for the first time. I have no clue what I said in that creation process, because I wasn't thinking about it. I didn't have any notes. I was flowing. So I get excited to hear my own material back, and I learn from myself. I learn things from myself. I don't even know that I know. It's awesome. It's really cool.
I go back and listen to myself, like, where did this come from? And I get inspired.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like,
yeah.
Yes. When you're in the
flow, it's the edification too.
When you get into this flow and the inspiration comes, and then you don't know where it comes from. Sometimes I get this when I'm on stage, and it's beautiful. And everyone can get into this flow if they learn to tune into it. So if they listen to
get out of this.
They should go listen. I advise you to go and listen to Paul Santisi meditations, and this will get you into the flow every day. If you're having trouble, he has amazing audios and meditation, and he gives a lot of his stuff for free. So if people want to find more information about you, about your meditations, about your programs, where is the best place to find you?
I just send everyone right to YouTube. Just go to YouTube, type in Paul Santisi.
Paul Santisi.
There's over 300 hours worth of audios, videos, meditations, and we just don't talk meditations and metaphysical stuff, folks. I go over extensive life principles, success concepts, techniques, and everything I present. It all comes from a place of real life experience. So none of it's sound good information. None of it's made up. None of it's logic. It's information I learned from my mentors that I applied in my life for months, weeks, and in many cases years first, before I then felt I qualified to teach it. So it's really a lot of personal development. We cover dozens and dozens of topics on emotions and success and thoughts and energy.
You're amazing. I listened to you many times in the past when I was down. Now I manage to keep my energy at a higher level most of the time. But anytime I feel I need a lift, I just go to your YouTube channel, and if I can't sleep, I can listen to a meditation and fall asleep, or I can listen to an audio, and it's amazing value. And like you said, I always make sure I listen from people who have proven results. They're in what they teach. This is very important. They come from experience. Mm-hmm. Very, very important. Be careful who you listen to.
The most important.
Yes. And because, yes, there is so many information around the internet now in personal development, so many people teaching coaching, but what is their background? How can they back up what they teach? So, and on the other hand, there are some really great experts and great information online, and Paul is one of them. And that's why he's succeeding and influencing so many people in a positive way. So thank you very much, Paul. And if you would leave us with one main tip, like a main tip that you could give to everyone listening today to achieve their goals and dreams and live a really great life following their purpose, what would be your main tip from all your background experience, helping people online improve their life?
Sure. That's another great question to end with. And my answer is going to probably shock the industry of those who teach. Mm-hmm. But the most important thing that I've learned to apply, it's know who you are, know what you want, and know why. That's number one. That allows you to feel what your intention is, okay? That's what the energy that will permeate out of you with everything you create. The second part is take away, this is the shocker, folks. Get ready, you might want to block your ears. Take away all time frames. And I know a lot of people, you must put time frames on goals and obsess. If you take away the time frame and know that when it lines up, it'll get done, and it will be done better than I could ever imagine. Because if you put a time frame on something, you're automatically thinking about the lack, because now you're under time pressure. If you say, I'm going to lose 20 pounds in 30 days, and in 30 days you lose 19 pounds, well, you fail. If you say at the end of the month, I'm going to weigh less than I weigh now, and you lose a half a pound, you succeeded. You've allowed your energy to expand on who you are with your confidence. You've expanded your possibility, your power. So I know it's a tough one, but I have no time frames on anything. When it lines up, it lines up. And,
I remember.
I get more done faster. A lot of people say, how do you get so much done so quick? I don't put time frames on anything.
Yeah. I remember the first time you told me about this, maybe it was 2 years ago when we talked the first time on Skype.
Yeah, I remember, yeah.
I was a bit desperate about some goals, and you told me remove time frames, and it was so difficult for me to remove time frames, and it took me a while to get into that. But when I really stopped caring about when it will happen, and I thought, okay, this thing will happen, I was so sure it will happen. Things start happening, and like you said, they're better than I imagined. But it was the moment when I stopped removing pressure of when it will happen, how it will happen, and I just thought, it's going to happen. I'm doing my best, and then boom, it's just came. It just comes.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. I had to experience it to understand it, but now I have. So now that I have experienced it in one area of my life, 2 areas, now I do it in all areas. I'm like, oh, I'm cool, It's going to happen when it happens, I know it's going to happen. I'm certain about it. I'm being the best version of myself. I'm developing myself all the time. So yeah, removing time frames is a big one. Yeah. Okay.
Just like this show, this wasn't the first time we lined it up. This is the second or third reschedule. You know, neither one of us was freaking out over it. Oh my God. We're like, I remember you kept saying, oh, I'm leaving. I'm going to do another event, this and that. I'm like, listen, never a rush, just excitement. When it lines up, it lines up.
Great. Thank you much for your time. Thank you very much for your time today. And all of you watching, go right now, subscribe to Paul Santisi channel. Even if you don't have time right now to listen to meditations, there's going to be a time when you will need this information. It will be very helpful for you, life transforming. And so stay connected. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Paul. And speak to you soon.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.